content and more about critical thinking, problem solving, creative thinking, multidisciplinary, and innovation. The gap between the current state of learning outcomes and what is required must be bridged through undertaking major reforms that bring the highest quality, equity, and integrity into the system through higher education. In this episode of Lessons in Excellence, we have with us a seasoned leader from the hospitality industry, Dr. Sudhir Andrews, who will highlight the relevance of this degree of transition within the higher education landscape. Mr. Andrew shares an old bond with Wgsha. He was instrumental in building the management team of Wgsha during its early years. Over the years, Wgsha has undergone phenomenal transformation, and to share this with him, we would like to play a video showcasing our current infrastructure. Digital media team.
Established in 1986, the Welcome Group Graduate School of Hotel Administration is a constituent institution of the Manipal Academy of Higher Education and was the first institute to have an industry-academia collaboration with the Hotels Division of ITC Limited. Wgsha has been ranked number 26 among best hospitality and hotel management schools in the world for 2020 by the CEO World magazine. Among the national rankings, Wgsha has been ranked as number 1 as Supreme Hotel Management Institute in India consecutively since 2007 by GHRDC Hotel Management Institute Survey 2020. Number 2 among top 50 colleges in hotel management in India by the Week Hansa Research Best Colleges Survey 2019. Among the top 10 hotel management colleges in India in Outlook Drishti, India's top professional college rankings 2019, and by India Today, MDRA Best Colleges Ranking 2020. Wgsha is also accredited to the apex body for chefs in the world, World Association of Chefs Society in 2019, and also accredited to the Indian Federation of Culinary Association IFCA. Manipal Academy of Higher Education has been granted the Institute of Eminent status by the Ministry of HRD, Government of India. This isn't a dream. This is Wgsha. With 5 varying courses including undergraduate programs such as Bachelor's in Hotel Management, BA in Culinary Arts, and postgraduate programs such as MSc in Dietetics and Applied Nutrition, Master of Hotel Management, and MA in Indian Cuisine and Food Culture. Wgsha provides its students with an objective-based educative curriculum coupled with world-class infrastructure and state-of-the-art facilities and resources unlike any other college. We at Wgsha aim to embark our students on a journey with the hands-on knowledge and practical experience they need to become leaders of the hospitality industry. After over 3 decades of producing the industry's best, Wgsha has created an enormous network of alumni who proudly carry the Wgsha badge on their name all around the world. Join us on this virtual journey where we show you what your college life can look like the Wgsha way. Walking into the Wgsha building through the iconic grand staircase, you enter through a double-door entrance to our lobby. Standing in front of you are walls of memories and inspiration as we proudly showcase our gold medalists over the years. The 35 courses that walk these halls. To the right is our college boardroom, which is equipped with audio and visual facilities ideal for any interactive meetings and discussions. Classrooms. Wgsha believes in providing top-of-the-line facilities to all our students. This is reflected by the classrooms, lecture halls, and tutor rooms, which are fully furnished with state-of-the-art technology, making them at par with the standards set by the world's leading hospitality institutes. The college is home to fully air-conditioned classrooms, outfitted with high-end lighting and acoustics and comfortable seating. The teaching-learning pedagogy used in the classrooms is IT-enabled, with complete audio-visual projection facilities for the seamless delivery of lessons and presentations. Library. The college provides the facility of 2 well-equipped libraries, both of which are impressive research facilities, enabling a calm, quiet and serene environment for students to focus on their coursework. The libraries are well-equipped with books of different disciplines, DVDs, wide range of reference books, national and international periodicals, journals, magazines, and an immense pool of research work by eminent scholars. The central library is meant for students of hotel management, while the ancillary library is meant for culinary arts students. The leading newspapers, a good amount of leisure reading, are available among students. The libraries also have an array of 12 computer terminals and intranet websites through which students can access online databases, journals, and catalogs anywhere in the campus using Wi-Fi connectivity. Computer Lab. The impressive computer laboratory at Wgsha hosts more than 30 computer terminals, each of which have access to online journals, study material, and learning platforms. Apart from having the ability to inculcate technical skills in students, it also features access to the online property management system Opera, with each individual having the facility to practice the software on their own. The Computer Lab guarantees an in-depth training preparing students for the industry. Front Office. Welcome to the Front Office Training Lab. This Front Office Lab is used for all practical classes relating to the subject, be it simulations, role plays, or even hands-on learning with hotel softwares. Students learn to act like front office staff and practice interactions with guests. At the Front Office Lab, students get a hands-on practice on property management system softwares so that they are ready to perform and impress as soon as they walk into the industry. Front Office doesn't just end there. Students also get additional inputs on revenue management and sales and marketing skills. Food production. Being one of the 4 core departments of the hospitality industry and 2 of our specialization courses, we at Wgsha have state-of-the-art kitchens and labs to facilitate our students' passion and to teach them the techniques of food production. We at Wgsha follow a continuous evaluation process, just like in the hospitality industry. Your performance yesterday does not ensure you the same today. We ensure that our students are always improving and performing to the best of their abilities every single day in order to improve their learning and skills. At Wgsha, we are equipped with 6 practical lab kitchens, 3 bakery labs, and the Fortune Inn Valley View Hotel Kitchen for on-the-job training of our students. These kitchens are home to cutting-edge equipment, tools, and presentation crockery to take the food preparation and presentation that one might dream of in order to bring our culinarians' dream to life. Designed with all modern kitchen facilities, including the epoxy flooring as per industry requirements, different varieties of ovens to electric gas burners to chef demo screens to food photography equipment, we have it all. Wgsha houses 3 bakeries where students get hands-on basic bakery skills. The lab is equipped with the latest in cake making, ice cream churning, sugar work, and chocolate making. F&B service. The objective at the Department of Food and Beverage Service is to teach and train students in the complete spectrum of theoretical and practical food service. The Food and Beverage Service course is exceptionally comprehensive and vast. These restaurants, namely Rendezvous, Chaya, and Classic Cafe, are equipped for students to learn the basics of F&B service skills like setting the covers, napkin folding, to full-fledged formal silver service. The Mock Bar, stocked with an extensive inventory of spirits and liquors from around the world, facilitates in learning of beverage and cocktail making. Our students acquire internationally recognized accreditation of their skills and knowledge from the city and guilds and learn to appreciate wines. Housekeeping. The housekeeping department is considered the backbone and the heart of the hotel. Wgsha houses 2 modern housekeeping laboratories. One laboratory is for hands-on experience of the entire room cleaning procedure. It is a mock guest room equipped with 2 twin beds, a powder room, and a bathroom to understand the nitty-gritty of how to clean and maintain guest rooms. Beyond these simulated environments, Wgsha is also affiliated to the Fortune Inn Valley View Hotel, where students get first-hand experience on how to clean guest rooms and hotel public areas. Surely, an experience like that will ensure that you're ready to take on the industry. Hostels and dining. Wgsha provides excellent accommodation facilities with infrastructure for 10 hostel blocks, 7 for boys and 3 for girls. These are inclusive of air-conditioned room accommodation as well as non-AC, making it the perfect place for students to come back to and make their home away from home. The hostels are provided with plenty of basic amenities such as water coolers with purifiers and washing machines on every floor, a common TV room, a common reading room, common gym for girls, a music room, etc. Apart from this, the hostel mess also has adequate dining space for all hostel students. To ensure safety of the hostel residents, there are security guards on rounds throughout the day and night, and CCTV surveillance as well. Hostel premises is surrounded by a beautifully manicured spice, vegetable and fruit garden, where students are encouraged to learn the art of cultivating organic produce and healthy eating. Culinary Museum. Wgsha entered Limca Book of Records for its first living culinary arts museum in India, endowed by our very own alumnus, Chef Vikas Khanna, who's a celebrity chef with a large worldwide presence. The museum is filled with antique culinary equipment used throughout the history of India. The idea of the Culinary Museum is to educate the future generations about India's vivid culinary history. These tools give an in-depth view of how the culinary landscape has evolved in the country, showing us the influence of technology in modern machinery and how easy it has made lives for chefs all over. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of undying hospitality, Wgsha.
Thank you, digital media team. May I invite our principal, Chef Kethiru, to give opening remarks.
Good morning. Hello. Yeah. Thank you, Anisha. On behalf of Team Wgsha, I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Sudhir Andrews for Faculty Development Program 4.0 Lessons in Excellence Lecture Series. Education, once mainly a domestic concern, has been affected as much as any sector by the forces of globalization and international connectivity. Country's global standing now depends in part on its education provision. Colleges, people performance, and curricula are subject to external scrutiny and international rankings. School and college place have become a commodity, forming a part of a country's export trade. Online educational provision means courses are offered across national boundaries. Employability and relevance of qualification to the international job market are an increasing concern. We at Wgsha continually making an attempt to benchmark our curriculum and teaching methods to make it contemporary and have a global presence and keep it tuned with the strategic vision of Manipal Academy of Higher Education. Coming up with new teaching methods, unprecedented times is essential. With change comes resistance, and the success of embracing digital can't just be left to assumptions and hope. While digital transformation is a well-known concept in the corporate sector, the education sector seems less aware of the threat, a lack of digital adoption process. Even though we had technology to take classes remotely in the pre-pandemic times, we only adopted them when they become a lifeline in the pandemic. With rise of technology, we must always look forward to keeping them human touch in place. Finding the right balance between traditional teaching methods and the latest one is necessary. Skill-based education has been at the core at Wgsha. Taking this to students is only possible with adequate know-how from our part. With Professor Andrews' keynote, we will be able to benefit greatly. And with this, I take this opportunity to welcome once again my colleagues for this Faculty Development Program 4.0 and Dr. Sudhir Andrews. Thank you, Jai Hind. Over to you, Anusha.
Thank you, sir. I request Mr. Partosh Dabral to introduce our speaker for the session.
Good morning, and thank you, Ms. Anusha Pai. Good morning to all our viewers and participants. It's an honor for me to introduce the speaker at this fourth edition of Lessons in Excellence, Professor Dr. Sudhir Andrews. Dr. Andrews is the first MBA from the IIMs to join the hospitality industry in 1971 when he joined the Oberoi Hotels. He quickly rose through the ranks to head the Human Resources Department of the Oberoi Hotel chain and set up the Oberoi Hotel School, which was later known as the Oberoi College Center for Learning and Development. Later, he led the Human Resources Department of the ITC Welcome Group. During his association with the Welcome Group, Dr. Andrews was involved in establishment of Wgsha. In his varied and illustrious professional journey, Dr. Andrews was the principal of IHM Pusa, member of the Governing Council Board for numerous institutes of hotel management, Director of Human Resources for a company in the Middle East, Group Vice President for a multinational corporation, consultant to the Sheikh of Dubai, founder of the first hospitality school in the UAE, Dean of Hospitality School at IIMT Oxford Brookes at Gurugram, Dean Academics at École Hôtelière Lavasa. Currently, he is a distinguished adjunct professor of management at the Oro University, Surat, where he also serves as the chairman of the advisory board. Dr. Andrews had received fellowships from the Government of India, was a consultant to the UNDP, ILO, and WTO for projects in the education and training areas. He has authored 11 books on hospitality education. Recognizing his sterling contribution to hospitality education in India, he has been awarded Rashtriya Gaurav Award, Rajiv Gandhi Award for Excellence, Best Citizens of India Award, International Intellectual Achievement Award, All India Business and Community Award for Education Excellence, International Status Award, Sri Ram Award for Best Management Thought. Amongst the hospitality professional, Dr. Andrews is affectionately known as the father of hospitality education in India. Dr. Andrews is a recipient of a Doctor of Literature honoris causa by the Open International University, Colombo. Despite his demanding schedule, he finds time to give specialist lectures at educational institutes and other forums. Indeed, we could not have found a person better suited to deliver lessons in excellence. And I now invite Dr. Andrews to deliver his address.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Before I start, I'd like to just quickly load my presentation, PowerPoint presentation, so that it goes seamlessly. Okay. There it goes. Okay, we are here. I want to thank Chef Thiru for giving me this opportunity to address you all. Believe you me, this is a very emotional moment for me, because when I first saw the premises, it was quite different from what it is today. And this presentation you have shown is quite unbelievable as to what it has become from what I saw when I first introduced this college. And I even stayed at Valley View, which was one of those old kind of guest houses, okay? And now it is under the franchise of Fortune Property, which is a good idea. And the wonderful museum and all that, I'm really touched, honestly. I congratulate all of you and the leaders of this institution for having it brought it to this stage, which is a dream. Frankly, it's a dream, and I feel it can go way beyond what it is in terms of its value in the world education scenario. I've been given this opportunity to address you as all faculty to optimize the online education. Okay. I don't presume at all that you people are not aware of what is happening and have already introduced a lot of things. I do recognize that you are a very learned group, and I have no false ideas that you know nothing. So, the things that you know, you can checklist and say, yes, okay, we are on the right way. But hopefully, I'm going to bring you new dimensions of how we can go on this online journey. All right. So let's start with the biggest quality that not only us as faculty, but also the students have to imbibe. As Charles Darwin said, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is one most adaptable to change. Now, adaptability is the operative word here, and therefore, my friends, we have to adapt very quickly. Okay, technology and life is changing so fast that we are constantly in a mode of adaptability, and that's the way we have to present ourselves. And this is one of the qualities we need to scream out to our students and say, adapt, adapt, adapt. Okay, so that is one thing we've done. Now, at this present moment, the world is witnessing, it's not only us, but it's the world is experiencing three historical events that will take us, society, that will take humanity into a different era. It will be in history books forever. These three historical events is, one, a new generation. We are witnessing a new generation taking over. And they are called the millennials. Millennials are those that are comprised of Gen Y and Z. Gen Y are born after 1982, and Gen Z are born after 1996. They are now in the colleges, and they are now coming into society. And this group of people are totally different from what we are. Okay, totally. Of course, the younger faculty in the college would be Gen Y. Okay, but totally speaking, we are going to be having what is considered a new generation with a new mindset. Okay, and those who are wearing old hats have not a chance in dealing with them or preparing them. So the faculty itself, we ourselves have to adapt. The second important thing is that we are in the digital age. And this is a new kind of thing, which is a screen-to-screen kind of communication. And and we have already got into it, and it's going to only expand. Therefore, online education too comes under this digital age proposition that is already introduced. And then there is the halo effect of COVID-19. Now, what I'd like to do is tell you how these three have affected us before we can even decide what to do in terms of our own education experience. Okay, let's try to understand who is this generation, millennials, and how they think, and how they, what kind of mindsets they have, and what kind of quirks they have. Okay, so let's go on that journey first. The new generation, the millennials. Let's look at them as the Gen Ys and students' needs. Now they're in college. These are the things that affect the students. First thing that they want from their faculty is a trusting relationship. By the way, they don't trust the older generation. Therefore, we have to work extra hard to overcome that mistrust and start turning them into, turning our relationship into a trusting one. It's a big process, frankly. The second thing about this generation is they want to create their own learning, the experiential education. No longer do they have the attention span, nor do they have shall I say, the being preached into, okay? Because they don't believe that the past generation can tell them anything. They don't believe it. And they will go through the motions of sitting in a class or whatever it be, but they're not committed. Okay, they're not committed, they're not in it. So therefore, we have to move towards creating an environment where they create the learning themselves according to their personalities, according to their mindsets, according to their needs. Okay? So it has to be experiential education. Third is they don't want to be a brick in the wall. There was an old rock song by Pink Floyd called A Brick in the Wall. Okay? Another brick in the wall. They are not wanting to be another brick in the wall. So we cannot look at the individual students, we cannot look at them as one body. We have to look at them individually, understand them individually, and sort of almost customize their learning to their personality. So that's tough, you know. So there has to be that personalization required. They are intolerable to policies which are rigid. They may go through it as a process that they can't avoid if they don't, but they need a lot of flexibility in policies. And that's where the management comes in to being, and fortunately, Welcome Group is a very forward-thinking establishment. So I'm sure your college will ensure that policies are not going to inhibit the growth of the students. They like to have short feedbacks, loops regularly, and recognition regularly. They cannot wait for the end of a semester to get a result through an exam. They want to get feedback feedback in process during the each semester at a close thing and say, how am I doing? You're doing fine, you're doing all right. The next thing about this group is their insistence, they want excellence. Okay. As a matter of fact, excellence is in our DNA right now, and definitely in theirs. I mean, like if in cricket, if somebody drops a catch, we give a lot of abuses, galias, everything. Why did he drop the catch? What does it say? It says that we expect you as a professional cricketer to catch every ball. So we are already expecting that without knowing it, that we are wanting in our life, we want excellence, and so do they. So what has to happen is that we have to push them towards excellence and not accept jugaad, a term which means a little bit of this and a little bit. We have to expect excellence from them. New softwares are going to come. Some of them are not yet there. So we need to provide them the education and software. Now, a very important thing about this generation is they're very tech savvy, okay? They were born with a laptop, with a hand, one of those PDAs in their hand when they were born. And from then onwards, they have, for them, technology is their breathing, their breath of fresh air. If there's no technology, it's like a fish out of water, they will die. So therefore, there is a new challenge coming for the hotels. The new challenge for the hotels is, how do I get these people and keep them engaged in my hotel? So the only way I can do it is give them technology challenges. So this is it, okay? So the hotel industry will be worried about where they will get talent. Simplified procedures and digital payments. Health and safety, as we know, is a top of the concern for all of us. As a matter of fact, I call this new COVID-19 a new terrorist. And therefore, all the procedures earlier for the human terrorists that was there in hotels has now changed to this invisible terrorist, and we have to go through all the health and safety protocols, okay? They like to be involved, like in do-it-yourself orientation, techno-orientation. Now, one of the big things that they have to do is that the Institute has to do is introduce what I call as a cyber lab. What is a cyber lab? A cyber lab is a laboratory which displays all the latest technologies of the world concerning hotels, okay? We are talking about hotels, concerning hotels out there, and connected from the back end, their wiring, where it goes, and also that the students are completely aware of how they are and what they do and how they're connected. So this kind of cyber lab has to be created. I don't know if you have, but it has to be there from now on. And also we have to be alert to all the softwares that are being developed. Okay, I see in your presentation, Opera and all, 3 chairs, okay? But there are many more softwares going to come, because people, what is going to happen to hotels is they're going to be run by knowledge workers. Now, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. That the hotel manpower is expected to come down to 13% of what they were before COVID-19. That's just a handful. Okay, that's just a handful of people. So all of them have to be highly educated and multi-skilled to be able to handle not left-hand side and right-hand side. No. They're not going to do that. Okay, they won't be bellboys and going and handling. They will be knowledge workers. And knowledge workers, therefore, know how to handle different softwares to do various tasks. Okay, and with that technology and artificial intelligence. So each person of that 13% who's going to be part of the hotel team has to be somebody who's bringing tremendous value to the operations. Okay. Just 1 second. Will you give me a minute? I have to mute myself because my maid is making a whole lot of noise and she doesn't know. Nandini, darwaza band karo. I'm sorry about that because she's making quite a racket in the kitchen with this. Okay. That shows I'm working from home, which is a new kind of scenario. Okay. So there you go. You have the cyber labs. You want, another thing is they're very impatient. If they want something, they want it now. So even in their education, if they want some answers, you'll have to give them immediately. They will not wait. They want connectivity in real time. I'm sure your college has some high speed and high broad bandwidths for their communication and learning. I hope they have it at home because we are doing online education now. They want to be actively involved in discovery and opportunities to incubate ideas, which means that we have to have an incubation center. I don't know, but I'm sure you do have an incubation center whereby the students can incubate their ideas. I didn't see it in the presentation, so I do assume that you would have. And finally, a very important subject now is going to be entrepreneurial development, because I have a prediction that 70 to 80% of your students are not going to take employment, and they are going to start their own jobs. This is my prediction. How do I know this? Because I've been teaching at Surat University, and there 2 batches under whom I worked, for whom I worked, both of them, about 80% didn't join the industry. As a matter of fact, just a handful, 4 or 5 people, students joined the industry. So this is another thing. We have to give them a heavy dose of entrepreneurial development. Now, in this entrepreneurial development, what is going to happen is they have to walk out of college with a live business plan proposal. That means in that course, apart from getting the fundas about how a SWOT analysis is done and all those things are done, budgeting done, they will actually create a live project, doing the market research, doing the demographics, doing everything, okay? And so we are now, therefore, looking at them to do a live this thing, and that they will walk out of the college you will have to ensure that they walk out of the college with a business plan under their armpit. This is one of the things you have to ensure. Okay, that acts as a plan B for them in case they don't get employment. That is, if they're seeking employment. Okay. So therefore, these are some of the things that our new generation has. Now I'm going to run through the other ones. They are driven by technology and will pick up jobs with state-of-the-art technology. Okay, so technology, people have, the hotels have to bring in technology. Okay, the second thing is, just 1 second, please. Okay. Yeah. So they do not, here's another very interesting as part of my research. They do not want to be corporate slaves, but be their own masters. That's a huge statement. So you don't have to really worry about them getting jobs. You don't have to. Because what we are creating from these people is a batch of people who are already proven themselves, qualified, walking out with unique ideas and skills, and organizations should be really chasing them rather than we having to coax them to take them. They are motivated by a cause that is without a monetary reward. Many of them will do voluntary work. They want a meaning. They want to be a part of a cause. They want to be part of a bigger picture. They want the peer affirmation and feedback in Twitter-sized feedback. They are well educated and want to be creative. 83% millennials will choose organizations that value creativity. So even when they join an organization, they want to have the freedom to be on the creative role, to bring in new ideas, new thoughts, and a management who will encourage creativity. They will gravitate towards mentorship by an older person. It can work both ways, as they can teach baby boomers and Gen X a thing or two. Oh yeah, I'm a baby boomer, by the way. And my daughter, who's a Gen Y, I have to depend upon her for many, to get past a lot of technology problems. Wants to set their own working hours and want me time at work. This is the breed we have. Okay. Let us go down. It is suddenly I think this is, I'll have to reduce this because it's not moving. Okay.
Sir, I think maybe cursor click somewhere else. Just
no, it is here, and I'm trying to. There you go. Thank you, my friend. Now you understand. Okay. Can teach the boss a thing or two because they come from a different breed. Okay. They want growth. And growth is not a position. Please understand, these groups are not enamored with titles. If at all you're giving a job, want to give a title to them, like the traditional titles, they would want to be called vice president in 2 years. So better get out of that trap, that title trap. This is what I tell the hoteliers, don't get into that trap. Have a nice fancy this thing, and they're quite happy to be in that. Their growth is not in terms of position like our times, like my times were. Their growth is in terms of experiences. Okay. So they look for short career graphs and unique compensation and benefits. Now, the thing is, if they join a hotel, say, or an organization which is not giving them opportunities to spread their wings and to do creativity and things like that, they will leave the job. They want a work-life balance. We all know that. 45% want workplace flexibility. 45% want workplace flexibility. 69% believe that attendance at workplace is unnecessary. Okay. Want total honesty and transparency. That means 69% believe they perhaps they can work from home. Okay. They love travel. 59% want to have international experience. One thing is, tourism is there's a great future in tourism, because this breed of people, they want to have experiences and create memories. We used to go abroad and we buy a souvenir to bring back home. Their souvenir is a memory, and that memory is something to share with their friends when they come back. So they are gung-ho to get out of their houses and travel. They may not even take a job for a year or two, but go on to travel for the first 2 years of their after passing college. They have different preferences than their Gen X parents. They find the parents absolutely unfit for the present times. They require less face-to-face time, and one of their greatest problems of the future is going to be loneliness. It's a huge problem that's going to have for their generation. Okay. They have minimal attention span, which I spoke to you, very impatient, want things now. They like community activities, make good volunteers. Millennials are extremely opinionated and desire authentic conversations. Okay. You cannot tell them shut up. You got to listen to them and have a proper critique with them. You know, not criticizing them, but critique. Okay. Millennials are restless and loyalty is not in their DNA. They will try a brand matching their lifestyle and helps them to look different. As a matter of fact, they don't like uniforms. And in our industry, we have to wear uniforms. So that's going to be a great challenge, how to get them into a uniform. Millennials have everything but time. The little time is crucial to spend correctly. Talking about time, at a recent meeting that we have, I think Professor Thiru was there also. We were told that their prime time in terms of biorhythms is between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, if that is so, do you expect them to study in the morning or even to get up? I used to have huge problems with the hostelers when I was with École Hôtelière Lavasa. There were zombies in the classroom in the mornings because they were awake the whole night. So we have to now start thinking as to how are we going to motivate them to work? Because steady kind of classes like that is such a boring thing. They will be half asleep. We must understand that. They like to invest in experiences. That's what I said. Extreme sport, build startups, don't want to own houses and cars. I mean, I keep telling my daughter, why don't you buy a car? You know, I mean, it's so easy. She says, why should I? I've got the Uber, which is a chauffeur-driven car for me wherever I want to go, and finds it cheaper. Detachment is the essential to experience bliss. So they don't want possessions like we do. Ghar hona chahiye, gaadi hona chahiye, fridge hona chahiye, blah, blah, blah. They change jobs every 3 years, they get bored. Social interaction on social media is precious, okay? We'll move away from materialistic things and move to higher emotional values in life. Okay. Now, folks, that is the group of people through research that we are coming to understand are a totally different kettle of fish. And we cannot and dump all our old practices and old ways of doing things. We have to dump it and create a completely new thing. Now, the second big historical moment was the digital age, is the digital age. We are already in it. And what is the digital age? To put it very simple, the transaction of information in business from screen to screen. So now, what we are doing is doing everything on screen. We are buying our medicines, we are buying our food, we are buying our groceries, our tickets, our taxis, everything. What are we doing right now? I'm talking to a screen, you're receiving me on a screen. So this is what has happened. This is going to be our life. And therefore, let us embrace the online education, even if everything is all right. If they say there's no COVID-19, let's assume, though I don't agree it'll ever stop, but say there's no COVID-19, you continue with online education with minimal blended learning. That means bringing them to your campus. Now, the mantra of the digital society is 2 words: disruption and innovation. Okay? Disruption and innovation. Now, these may sound very, very complicated words, but actually they're not. This is what I kept telling the students, and I would like you as faculty also to tell your students, these are not very big words. Disruption is looking at anything around us at home or at work or outside in the shopping areas or wherever, and asking a simple question: can it be done in a different way? That's all. Can it be done in a different way? Take, for example, if we have a napkin, 15 by 15 inches napkin, you know, the table napkin that we put for food. Why should it be square? Why can't it be hexagonal? Why can't it be fan shape? Why can't it be oval? The moment we start thinking that way, we are causing disruption. Now, faculty, one of the tasks that you have is starting disruption in your own minds as faculty to get into the loop of disruption and inculcating on a regular basis disruption in the mindset and the thinking of your students. Okay, so here we go. This is a new, so adaptability was one very big thing we said, thanks to Charles Darwin. And now we are talking about what you have to inculcate in the students is just the concept of disruption. Ask them, let them get into a mode of creativity, a mode of research, and that business plan that they're going to walk out of college with is a new idea. It's not a me too. So now we are producing students who are not me toos at all. They are not a brick in the wall. They are individuals, each with their own talents, each with their own capacities, and each with their own unique mindsets. And then they can experiment those unique ideas in the incubation center. Okay, so let me move this a little bit here. So what we are actually, the qualities we are developing in disruption is critical thinking, encouraging disruption, problem solving. As a matter of fact, this generation is going to decide the way we live, the way we work, and the way we play. They are the ones who are going to solve our problems. They are fearless. And if you saw that the last session of the 5th day of the 4th test between India and Australia, it is the millennials who won that really impossible match for us because they are fearless. They're not overawed with any situation. Okay. If another good example is that huge case of what is this Rajput, that actor who was committed suicide allegedly, and Kangana Ranaut's reaction. She took on the government, she took on the establishment, the Bollywood establishment, blah, blah, blah. That's the kind of personalities we have in amongst our midst, the people who will challenge, fearless. Then, if we look at innovation, we'll have to start looking at Cyber Lab, incubation center, exhibition of innovation, exhibitions of their creations, inviting venture capitalists and angel investors, entrepreneurial development, encouragement. And this is going to be the whole objective of the new education. The whole objective of the new education. Okay. Now, let's look at the things that COVID has disrupted. Okay. We come to the third element of historic change, and the big change that has taken place is work from home. Students will be very encouraged to start a project of their own from home. Why? Because all it takes is a laptop and a broadband internet, and a desk, and they're up and go on. They're ready. And guess what? They are not only subjected to their town or their country or their state, they are open to the world. So another thing that you will have to bring to their sensitivity is they are global citizens. Even employment, when we think of employment, let them not think about working in India. Explore the world wherever you want to go. And Indians are everywhere. They are very hardworking, very intelligent, smarter than the local people. Okay? So there you go. You should encourage them to look globally. And all the things that are important in global kind of orientation, like being able to speak English properly, okay, like that, understanding the customs of other people of different countries, if they want to do business, okay, their habits, their customs, their culture. That's how you become a global citizen. Another big thing that COVID-19 did was physical distancing. That's how this industry, hotel industry, has gone down to lean staffing in the industry. As I said, it's 13% of going to be of the number of people that were there before COVID-19. Now, technology was never supposed to come so fast into the hotel industry because we got cheap labor, you know. But this COVID-19 has forced it upon us to go on fast forward in technology orientation. It seems to be the thing that has opened our eyes that let's get into technology now. Organization structures will change. The old erstwhile pyramid shaped organization structure, where it took you a lifetime to start from an apprentice to the general manager. Okay, that will not work. That's the old industrial revolution kind of thing, where you go from one position to another position to another position to another position. Organization structures will be an inverted pyramid, where the people who will be given top priority and the best salaries will be the customer-facing people, who will be knowledge workers, who will be operating from an array of softwares and technology in dealing and giving the customer the perfect experience. They will be supported by specialists who will keep their work going. There's no downtime in their technology, no downtime in software or software glitches. These are the experts who will be there as a second tier. And guess what? The third tier is the leadership. They're right at the bottom in the inverted pyramid. Because there is a new term called servant leadership, whereby the leaders now are supporting the main people who are running the show. The leadership will in the future will not interfere with operations. Operations will be in the hands of the teams who are there, because they're knowledge workers now, superior in their mindsets and their skills and things like that. Leaders will be more concerned of growing the organization, acquisitions and mergers, getting new franchises, providing resources for the working people. They will not be bosses anymore. Okay. As a matter of fact, the leaders of tomorrow in hotels, the general managers, are not going to be from hotels. They are going to be business managers from MBA background. So demand for specialists will be there. Hotels want ready skills. Now, here is a very important thing. No longer they have the resources nor the time to train somebody like it used to be before. They want a person coming out of a hotel school with ready, demonstrable skill. And I'm going to show you a clip at the end of my thing as to what I mean. And you as a faculty, those people who are looking for a job and not going on their own, I will show you the kind of clip, what kind of a clip they need to develop. Because interviews are going to be online, tests are going to be online, and what you can do is going to be online in the form of a video clip. Okay, and I'll show you a sample of that. You must encourage them to for own businesses, and there are plenty of opportunities. I wouldn't worry about them. And I'm going to tell you what are the opportunities available for them, so that you can keep telling them, here, there is an opportunity here. Would you like us to develop you for that? Not collectively, individually. Okay. Now we come to the new education practices. So this is the background which I told you of these historical events so far. And therefore, it has changed everything. Okay? It cannot be wished away. Old ways will never come back. It is done. The change has happened. Okay. Now let's look at this. The first thing we want to understand is immediate changes. Online education has come to stay. I'll shift this thing here to this side. Online education has come to stay. Okay? Faculty have to re-engineer themselves for online education. Now, the change is coming from you all. That means you are the fountainhead of change. To be that fountainhead of change, you will have to re-engineer yourself. And I will tell you what you have to do in this presentation. One of the re-engineerings you have to do is move from pedagogy to andragogy and blended learning. Pedagogy is teacher-led education. It is passé now. It no longer exists. It will not work. We move to andragogy, which is student-led learning. I'll talk a little about it a little later, okay? And yes, we have to bring them back into the campus for proper guidance in terms of practice on various things that they want to do. It is quite possible that out of the batch of students that you have, there will be only a few people interested in cuisine. You have a separate cuisine people, culinary people. But even from the management side, there will be culinary people interested in culinary. There'll be few people interested in restaurant operations, and therefore all that. Now we have a housekeeping, marketing, human resources, that selection of what they want to be an expert on has to be done at the time of the induction of the students. All of the colleges have an induction period. I know Surat has a two weeks induction program. Okay. In these 2 weeks, we have to do psychometric tests and find out where their talent lies. So therefore, you don't have to do mass kind of kitchen training programs and things like that. You will be doing with a very small groups of people. And right in the beginning, you are giving them attention to what they want to do. Now, you may say that, oh, you know, getting a change in the university rules, and they say we have to do this, we have to do it. But that is not going to be the thing, the main thing. And I'll tell you how to do it without much of a problem. Okay, I'll tell you how. Adapt to a new generation, develop unique skills. Now, please understand, it's not developing skills. It's not developing me too skills. Like yesterday I was talking to, doing a conference with Tuli College in Nagpur. And they said, how can we get training in French cuisine, one of the students. To which I said, do you know something? French cuisine and the traditional cuisines are out. Your generation is not looking for that. They want to have very specialized cuisine. Start looking at the world and start looking at different cuisines of the world. If it's in India, why don't you go to Meghalaya and learn Khasi cuisine and introduce Khasi cuisine? A friend of mine in Bangalore has introduced Naga food from Nagaland. Or you can do it from other parts of the world. That's globalization, and you become different. Now, the moment you said, I want to learn sauces, I want to learn, it's a me too. It's a me too, because that used to be the pattern every time. So they have to move away from that to become unique. Okay? And one great unique opportunity for chefs is, for budding chefs is wellness cooking, because that's going to be very big in the future generations. Okay? And then you have to keep your ears down to the ground as to what the recruiter or the hotel industry is looking for. Have a closer dialogue with them and find out, okay, what are you looking for? I'm sure you're doing it. I'm definitely sure you're doing it, okay? So that's another thing. Keep your ears to the ground. Okay. Now, as far as I said, the faculty are the ones who have to change first. And for you to gain the trust of this new breed of students, you have to show a certain kind of academic leadership. They should look up to you. Okay? They must respect you. Remember that first point I brought in, trusting relationship. They must trust you. They must believe in you. Okay. Now let's look at these stars that I have created out here. The first thing is adaptability. You have to adapt yourself to these new changes and quickly, and give the students, what should I say, shock assignments so that they can adapt very quickly. So get them into you're teaching something here. Okay, now please make a project of something else. And I want it by tomorrow morning. That's how we start developing adaptability. Okay. You all have to update yourself. As we all know, I'm sure you do, that learning does not ever stop. It is lifelong. And this is one of the qualities that you have to develop in your students, that learning is lifelong, because things are going to be outdated so very fast. Okay. So disruption is the way to think of things. So you also have to create disruptions, give them example of what your disruptions are, and give the students the flexibility to create disruptions. Because that's the order of the day. Coming to the right-hand side, you have to be knowledge predators, hungry for knowledge, being ahead of the curve, doing certificate courses, having a vast library in your house, knowing what is the latest trend, also you are going to be researching constantly. By the way, folks, there's another huge change taking place. And that is that the industry used to follow, we used to follow the industry. This is the right time now that industry follows academia. Industry follows academia. So how do they follow? By research that you do. Bringing new ideas, bringing new disruptions, okay? And telling the industry, hey, we have gone ahead of you now, and we are learning, and this is what you have to do. So soon what will happen is that you will be having short courses on the disruptions you have created and the research you have done for the industry. And your students will also be coming into the industry saying, hey, buddy, I've got this new idea. Have you thought of it? I've got a solution to your problem. So hire me. Another very important thing is that you have to develop your writing skills and because you'll be writing a couple of things. One is you'll be writing books. That means authorship is one of the things that you have to be. Case studies you'll be writing. You have to develop case studies. Articles you'll be writing to get to be recognized by the society. Thought leadership through constant research, re-engineering yourself periodically. Okay. I would say that if you have not attended two programs at your cost, don't ask the college to do this. At your cost, you're attending 2 programs a year, that's minimal. So this is going to be the new faculty with all these things I have brought out. Okay. Right. Now, when we talk about methodologies, let's try to understand what these methodologies are, okay? Pedagogy is teacher-led learning. So you had in the classroom, you had a course content to complete. So you have classes, you stand in front of the student. Yeah, you may have some games, some this thing and all that. But the focus is on you to pass on the knowledge to them, and therefore you are called a lecturer. But andragogy is something student-led learning. In which case you move from a lecturer to a facilitator. So from now on, my friends, all faculties are no longer lecturers. Your mindset should be, I should be a facilitator. And I'll tell you what is a facilitator's job. Okay. Then you come to epistemology, where the creation of knowledge, where the students are creating knowledge, and you become a mentor. So let's get these titles very clear. Now, let me give you an example of andragogy. I'll tell you one of the examples that I did. Okay. Just one example. I mean, my whole course was on the basis of what I did, andragogy. Where did I learn this? I learned it in Lausanne. Okay. I had to take a course on resorts. We all know what's a resort. I broke the class into several smaller groups. And I said, this group, you are going to give us a presentation on such and such a day on a golf resort, in which you're going to present what you're going to do with how you're planning the resort to be, where your parking is going to be, where your manpower is going to be, where the site is going to be. You have to plan all those things with your group. Mind you, I haven't told them anything about a golf resort. Next group, you talk about a jungle resort. Third group, you will prepare a presentation on a hill resort. Another on a beach resort. And I remember I had one more desert resort. Okay. Now they have, what you will do is just give them books, articles. That's where your work comes in. I define the reference material that they have to get in touch with to create their presentation. There's no lecture involved in this. No. And they will then start developing that project called a golf resort. To my utter surprise, they gave presentations which were just beyond my imagination. Why? Because many of them have been already to some exotic places as resorts. And others, they love to do research because all the information is there on the wild web. Okay, all the information is there. So there you go. They produce such brilliant presentations because they are tech sound. They brought in all sorts of things. I mean, they brought in role plays, little snippets of role plays, how the concierge is going to behave, all this thing. My God, I was really blown out of my mind. So like that, they want to be in command of their own knowledge. But here's a trick that I would like to tell Chef Thiru. And that is, before you, in your, what do you call that, in orientation program in the beginning, one morning you call all the parents. Call all the parents and tell them what is the new style of education. They shouldn't come back to the kya classes nahi lete ho and all that, because they're living in the old. Explain to them what is andragogy, what we are trying to do. Explain to them why we are doing it, what is the role, what is there with this thing. They must be part and parcel of understanding to now what will happen is these students will start communicating everything at night. You're giving them a deadline, and you may like to say every week, okay, we are going to meet, and you're going to tell the progress you've made, if you want to. Okay. So let them have a regular progress. Otherwise, this group also does everything at the last minute. Though they are brilliant, mind you. Their adrenal rush comes doing things at the last minute. Okay. So you can have you can even chalk out what kind of milestones that you want to put for them. By this week, you should have done this. This week, you should have done the human resource planning. This week, you should have done the architectural drawing, blah, blah, blah. That is andragogy, my friends. You haven't spoken anything. You haven't given them a lecture. You have left them alone because all that information is there on the World Wide Web. Okay, that is andragogy. Of course, when like, you know, you have PhD students and master students doing dissertation where they're creating new knowledge. At that time, you would move from a facilitator to a mentor, guiding them. That's it. Now, Thiru, I would like to, I've reached 12:30 and I've still got a lot to say still.
Yes, sir.
How would you like to like me to continue?
Sir, we can have Q&A, then later we can continue. No problem, sir.
You want to do Q&A now?
Yes, sir. We'll just
of what I have already covered, because there's so much more I have to cover.
Right, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay, what we'll do is let me go until 1 o'clock.
Right, sir.
And we'll then have a Q&A as a break, because I suppose they want to have lunch and things like that also.
Right, sir. No problem, sir. If you
and we can continue, or we can stop now and we can continue this on another day. How would you like to do it?
Sir, we can continue another day. Not a problem. No problem.
Okay.
We'll have lecture series 2 by you.
Yeah. It could be a series, you know. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
it's the same thing, but another lot of things.
Sure,
okay,
sir. Sure.
Great. Then thank you for being so flexible. So what I'll do is,
yes, sir.
I'll continue till 1 o'clock. Or
right,
no, I said no, not 1 o'clock. Let's do some Q&A now.
Yes, sir.
About
yes,
what
sir.
I've covered so far.
Yes,
and
sir.
then we close shop, and then we will say on Monday or Tuesday we'll fix another day.
Right, sir. Right.
Is that okay with you?
Definitely, sir. Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
So let's go into Q&A.
Right, sir. To begin with, I would invite my colleague, Mr. Valsaraj. He has a question to ask you. Valsa, please, could you please go ahead?
All right, Chef. I'm just enabling my video. Yes. 1 minute, it got disabled once again.
Don't worry about your video. Your voice is lovely.
But
Okay.
I would like to look at you and talk to you, Professor. That's what they said.
Okay.
So, thanks a lot.
Great. Well,
Excellent presentation, and each moment was a learning for me. So amazing. But meanwhile, when you mentioned about the hybrid courses, then I had an area which was not very clear to me.
Yeah.
Since hybrid classes are nowadays essential also, and even though like in the pedagogy, as you have started, it was one of the components of hybridization of the classes with the online technique, because in the online mode of various, even IGNO, Madurai Kamaraj, or whatever it may be, like there used to be hybrid classes, but those classes were like were a little bit of standardized with face-to-face meeting, regular standardized face-to-face meeting. But now in the post-COVID scenario, when we started with the hybrid classes came as a convenience now, because those who could not come to the class, okay, then we will do the hybrid classes. So in this scenario, or in this context, I would like to get a clarity from your side in such a way that where meeting does not happen regularly, whereas in nowadays hybrid classes, meeting happen only for a few times in each semester. So in this case, how will the optimization process of online education may handle the hybrid classes?
Okay, it's blended learning which you're talking about, am I right? That to bringing them to do practicals at the campus, okay? The kind of vision I have is like this. You don't have to do it for everybody. That's the way I'm thinking. And if we are giving them to come up with a new cuisine, not Me Too education that has been the thing of the past, and saying, all right, you choose a cuisine that you want to do and come back to us and do your demonstrations to us, and we'll give you whatever they say. Maybe we'll call in a chef, an expert to come and give some views as to how your cuisine is developing, That's what is the vision that I have, okay? But let's look at what you're doing is, if you have done the psychometric tests and all that and got to know their interest, why would a person who is wanting to do digital marketing as a career want to do anything got to do with service and kitchens, Why do we have to force it on them, is my point of view. Somebody else would like to do something else. Why do we have to force it on them? So this blended learning will have to be only for those people who have taken kitchen culinary arts as their profession. Now, you have a very big group of people taken in your culinary course. Yes? You will then have to remember one thing also, my dear friends. You call them here to the college to give them the basics. Okay, to give them the basics. What are the basics? Different cuts of meat, frying, different methodologies of meat cooking. Okay, and from there they go home, all right, and create a menu of their choice. Okay, now just remember that many of these students are already very, very au fait with cutting, slicing those basic tasks in the kitchen. Why? Because they've been following master chef programs. That's been a big thing. This generation love those master chef programs, and they've been experimenting at home. So it's quite likely that not only there, but that mothers will be having the kind of equipment that is required. Maybe you can prescribe equipment at home that they should have. You can prescribe it and say, you must have a chutney, you must have this. Okay, few things. It's an investment that you need to have at home. Now, given this investment, given the basics of how you do steamed cooking, how you do grilled cooking, how you create your own thing now. That's the way I would look at it. So we are using that coming to the college for training for imparting the basics of it. And that's all is required for them, the basics. And let them experiment and create their own menus. Now, yes, there is a bit of a modification that may happen in your syllabus. I mean, that is there, whether you can manage that. But this is the best way to have fewer sessions of blended learning on campus with fewer groups of people, okay? So that they're spaced out. And your kitchens are lovely, as a matter of fact. They're already spaced out very beautifully, you know, so a student at each station could handle it safely, you know, plus all the precautions you will take in terms of protocol for health and safety, you know. And that's it, and let them now start creating their own menus or researching on new menus. That is what will get them a job. It is not the Me Too's. Okay. And let me tell you, they are not interested in the Me Too kind of an environment. They want to be creative all the time, in a mood for creating something new. If that is there in their DNA, how can we stop them from it, you know? This is my view. So bring them into the college that you say as a chef, or in housekeeping, or in service, there are certain basics I must teach them. Now the basics itself, by the way, you know, that's a different presentation about technologies. But for example, you're not going to have the left-hand side, right-hand side kind of service by people anymore. You're going to have smart tables where you choose the menu, you press the button, and there's a space, any special instruction. No, I don't want any onions, or I don't want any of this thing. And the chef makes it, and it is delivered to you on a, you know, like those sushi trains. Sushi is, what do you call them? Circular displays, and it comes to your table. This is the kind of things that are going to happen in the future. So thinking that there's going to be somebody who's serving them from the left-hand side and the right-hand side, it has no value today, as a matter of fact. By the way, colleges like Cornell and Lausanne and all these fancy colleges are outdated. They're outdated because they go on the my host kind of a thing. It's no longer my host. My host means you do everything yourself. You do the flambés beside that's my host. Okay. Now technology will do everything. So now you have to plan as to how you are going to, yes, have blended learning. I'm not saying no, but give them the basics. Even famous cricketers, when you go to famous cricketers, when you hear them, their interviews, they always say, I stuck to the basics. I stuck to the basics. Make their basics strong so that you are not going to build it for them. They are going to build their own superstructures.
Thank you.
That's the kind of vision I have. So now, having given that, now you can modify it to your needs.
We shall practice it and we'll get back to you for further advices. Thanks a lot for this.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you also. I think the question, what you sir, the way which was put up, and also that's what something like you said that the service standards going to change. And we can connect that, there's no uniformity in water goblet and what we table set up. There are so much changes, but still the books refer certain things, if it is a brandy balloon, these many mls, but everything is customized and everything is changed as per the cuisine and the restaurant, the aesthetic, as per that it changed. So I think we all have to go with the what current trends, and as well as what you mentioned that stick on to basic, that's very important. And thank you, sir. Thank you for answering Mr. Valsaraj's question. Thank you, Valsa. Now I would like to invite Dr. Vidya for, she has a question to ask you.
Hello, Dr. Vidya.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you,
Good
sir. Thank you for
afternoon.
the informative presentation.
Thank
So my
you.
question is, you mentioned about moving from pedagogy to andragogy, or becoming facilitators in classroom learning. And you have also showed in one of your slides that we need to re-engineer ourselves
Yes.
for online education. So as you know, we are beginners and we are kind of, it's an everyday learning for us when it comes to online education. Maybe it is using different tools or the simple teaching in itself. So can you please share some of your actual experiences or some that you have observed in other higher educational institutions that you are associated with, sir, so that we can at least ape them for the time being. We can learn from those experiences of yours in a kind of re-engineering this ourselves.
Oh, Vidya, what is the subject you take?
I teach human resources.
Oh, beautiful.
OB.
Beautiful. That's my favorite topic, by the way.
Thank you.
I did OB in my business school in IMA, but okay, I'll tell you this course that I did with my master students in Surat. I said recruitment. Again, I broke them into groups. I said this group, I give them a time, a short of when their presentations will be, okay, so that they plan out their coordination and think they have their own communications and all. So I said to them, let's look at recruitment. You are going to handle recruitment, okay? Give them a topic. Second group, I said, you're going to handle training and development, okay? Third group, I said, you're going to handle performance management. Another group, you're going to talk about succession planning. Like that, I gave them the topics and threw them in the deep blue sea.
Okay.
I said, you come back to me. And what they produced was fantastic, I'm telling you. My experience, what they produced was fantastic. The kind of creativity they showed. They used charts, they used this thing, they had PowerPoint presentations, they had role play in the classroom, like interviewing techniques in the classroom. They had, because it was classroom time at that time, okay? But what another group did is they videotaped role plays, which they did themselves, so their creativity is incredible, and our job is only, and they have to say also where they got that information from, which book did they read, which is the reference point that they had done. So you know that they are not bullshitting, they have done actual studies to be able to produce that presentation, okay? It's worked like magic for me, magic. And now what I did with the next group, I made it a college event. Anybody who wants to come, because I got confidence from them, they're very good. College event, I said, anybody who wants to learn about recruitment and this thing, please come on this particular day at this particular time. This group of students are going to present that. Now they are also, their college, they're also up there that they have to give a good show. So they give unbelievable. I mean, I've never done what they do. Ever since I taught human resources, the way they have animated it, and brought it to us. Brilliant. Try it. Throw them in the blue sea. We are very worried that, poor things, they will drown. No. Another very important thing I want to tell all this group of faculty, they are no longer children. They are no longer children. They are young adults. And it's time that we treated them like that. Like, for example, in college, we have boys' hostel, girls' hostel. What rubbish. They're not boys and girls anymore. They're young adults. Gentlemen, ladies. We have to make them feel responsible. That's another very important thing for you, all the faculty, to make them feel responsible for their own learning, for their own progress. We are not responsible for it. I make that very clear right in the beginning. I'm not going to be responsible for your success. I will show you the way. You are responsible for your own success. Why? Because you're an adult. Unfortunately, our Indian families, that thanks to joint family systems and all that, have always treated, not allowed people to grow, because there was always some big person in the family calling the shots and making decisions for everybody. So they don't know how to make a decision. I'll be coming to the classroom, how you handle the classroom, is that you're not going to tell them, if they ask you a question, you're not going to answer it. Ma'am, can you tell me about this thing? Go and find it out yourself. This is your answer. Normally we'll say, oh, we feel good. We know everything. No. We have to hold ourselves back and say, go and find it yourself and let me know what it is. They'll do it immediately. They'll open this thing and do the Google and all that. And they'll say, ma'am, I'm reading it out to you. I said, Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That means they have searched for the answers to their queries. You have just kept it yourself aloof. But this methodology has to be taught to the parents mostly, because you don't want them to say, kya apna zamane mein teachers used to call every day, yeah. You have to tell them the times have changed and this is our methodology. I hope I've answered your question, Vidya.
Yes, sir.
But try it. Please try it.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Look
Thank
forward
you.
to your next session.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Vidya. I would request now Dr. Srilata Rao to go ahead with their question.
Hello, Srilata.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sir, I have a very general question to ask you, your guidance. Now, all of us will agree that online education is bound to continue, even if the vaccine has come and so on. Now, when it is an offline class, it's very easy for the teachers to identify those students who need that extra support. Whereas in online education, that sort of a real-time assistance, I think, will be really difficult for us to give, because it's difficult for us to find out such a student. Now, going ahead, it may actually affect the mental health of a student. He's not understanding what is happening in this class and so on. So could you just suggest to us how this mentorship or counseling and so on can be effectively or optimally implemented in the current situation? And moreover, a situation where at home the parents have lost jobs also. So when it is like that, how we can handle student communities?
A good question. It's a very good question you asked, Srilata. Now, what happens in on-the-job on online training is the college has a person called an academic counselor, okay? An academic counselor who's a qualified counselor, okay, for mental issues or adjustment issues, not in terms of content of the subject, no, but for getting across to help them through, okay? The reason why you have a group, you always put them in groups, is because in a group, they are never allowed to lose their way because there's somebody there in the group who will bring them on the path and tell them this is it and this is it. Allow them to choose their own groups, by the way. You can also allow, because many of them may have a neighbor who's there, becomes convenient. So you say, okay, you can have your best friends with you. You choose your group, whichever group you want. And they become this is called collaboration, which is a very important new skill that has to be learned, collaborating with each other to get knowledge and information. But if it comes to some sort of a disturbed mind to get over certain things, then you would have what is called an academic counselor as part of your team, whom they can contact anytime. Okay, and the academic counselor will give them an appointment, either online or in the college, whichever is convenient for them. But for you to get involved in their mental thing is not advised. You talk about stick to your knowledge creation. That's it. Let somebody else handle their mental state to get over these kind of hurdles of learning. Okay. Mind you, you have already prepared these students at our orientation time that this is what they're going to expect to do. It's not going to come as a surprise. You're going to tell them this is the methodology of how we are going to learn. You have to work in collaboration with each other. Okay. As a matter of fact, I will later on keep telling you about there are other organizations set by students. There is one organization called Yummy. Very nice. What they have is they connect a student, say in kitchen, with a chef in the market, and that chef becomes a mentor to the student. And the chef will guide the student also in terms of any problems they have, etc. So they have already started with PUSA, and they're already started with many other organizations, and it is working. So like that, I will introduce you to certain ways in which you can overcome a more professional inputs given through this way. But mentally, I would request Professor Thiru to organize an academic counselor who's a qualified person to help students get over the hump.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Just to add what I know Madam Srilata Rao teaches statistics, research methodology.
Oh,
and
lovely.
also she is having additional responsibility of students welfare officer. So what we do in college, we have, each student have mentors. So all 46 of us have 20 to 30 students. We have to take care of them for 3 to 4 years. And so that is there. And also we have introduced concept called alumni mentorship. We started 2 years back. So we identify, the alumni who wants to volunteer themselves to, mentoring them. So normally, they get an opportunity to interact with them whenever required, and also a formal kind of program which we organize on an average in a semester twice. So that opportunity also students have. But something which you said that talking about students, Yummy, that somebody is connecting directly to industry. That's nice to know that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I would request Dr. Senthil to go ahead with his question.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Professor. I'm Dr. Senthil Kumaran, Professor,
Senthil.
teaching research method to the PG students.
Oh,
Thank you for
lovely.
your excellent thought shared with us. My question to Professor, Professor, do you believe that now hospitality educational institutions have built resilience to overcome COVID-like situation in the future?
Of course, the answer is yes. I mean, from what I hear from you and other colleges too, they have built up resilience and they have responded. They have not said, where do I go and all that. No, I think they have responded very well in the whichever way. I mean, they would have given classes in lectures through the media, whatever, but they have not let the curriculum get affected as such, you know. So I think, yes, I mean, after all, you are the people who are teaching people to manage life in the future. So you are a bunch of very resilient people yourselves, you know, and therefore the industry has, I mean, the education sector has responded. What we are doing in this talk is fine-tuning it, you know, fine-tuning it and seeing as to what is relevant and what can be thrown aside, you know. There's no point in wasting time on that.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Dr. Sandil. Thank you, sir. And I would request now Ratnadev to go ahead with this question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Thank you again for being with us. It is really honored to speak to you like this
Thank you,
online,
Ratnadev.
and we would love to see you with us very soon.
Yes.
Sir, my question is connected to what you spoke earlier about the generations. Now,
Yes.
fortunately, our education campuses have now reached millennials and maybe Z. So we are okay with putting a lot of technology and they would love it. Now this COVID actually became a blessing for them in a way. They're enjoying this online, except the exams. Exams they want to cut short as much as possible, but they're actually enjoying the online part. And we have also done a lot of things in online education. But I would like, I would like to take you to the industry context in terms of generations. Now, the more technology we give to the guests, which like website-based, app-based, and the generation Z, Y, Z, all are now with technology. And millennials would love it when they go to the hotels. But baby boomers like you, and probably generation X, the more technology you give, don't you think they will become a little lonelier? Like they would have less contact points.
Like baby boomer like me. Yes.
Absolutely. So can we give some blended?
I'll be lost, but I will take the help of those people to see me through. There will be somebody like a concierge or something who will help me through that. Yes, it is possible. Yes.
Yes, sir. Can we give some kind of blended mode of guest services to put it into the minds of the managers that don't forget the baby boomers and don't forget the generation X?
No, that's what I said. The 13% of people will be there. You know, they will be there to do that guidance possibility and all that. But don't forget that most of the travelers today are not going to these fancy hotels I mean, less and less. What is becoming very popular are the Airbnbs. You know?
Yes.
Do you know at one time, Airbnb was just, if my knowledge.
Is it the Indian context you are telling? I have seen only few hotels that time. Now it is full actually. Sir, are you able to hear us? Because suddenly your video has got stuck.
I think some network issue.
Probably. We'll wait for sir to come back.
I'll just try to call him.
Yes, sir.
Back. Yes. Yes, sir. I think some.
Yes, sir. He will try to come back, sir.
Please, sir will join us back. Some power issues there. So
Yes.
yes, we'll wait for some time. Another 2 minutes. He will log in.
Yes.
Raghavendra, sir is back.
Not seeing yet, sir.
No, I saw Sir joined now. He was in the lobby. I just accepted.
No.
Sir is there. Sir, can you hear? Can you
So
hear
can
me?
you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How do I get my picture on?
Sir, you just click on that video icon, so left side bottom.
Okay, I click on, okay. I am getting start my video.
That's all, done.
Hello. Yes, okay, sir. Sorry, I had a power failure in my house, so.
Yes, sir, you can go ahead, sir, please.
Yeah, what was the question? I want to just
Yes,
remind.
sir. We were talking about baby boomers and Generation X might feel lonely with technology. And you had been telling about the hotel side.
Yeah, and I was telling you that now baby boomers and the others are finding it more comfortable to go to Airbnbs.
Yes, sir.
So the technology will go to the millennials actually, and people like us who would work in would go and stay in Airbnbs. By the way, if you look at Delhi, I mean, if you look at India, the branded hotels, which are going to be all this technological oriented, are just 4% in terms of rooms to the total lodging rooms available in India, just 4%. 96% is are all the other things like
unorganized
guest houses,
yes.
Unbranded hotels and things. So there are a lot of opportunities where they will not go into technology because it will be too expensive for them to do so. So they will go into their old good old methodology. As a matter of fact, I even chosen that for those of the students who feel comfortable in the old way of doing things, they can join those hotels, you know.
Maybe Airbnb, service apartments, and homestays.
Yeah, exactly, room stays, exactly. So that's where we will go.
Great, sir. Thank you, sir. So we are spared from now that we will push now technology in the campuses.
You are very,
so the hotels have to keep.
You are very young, Mr. Ratnadeep. It does.
Not
You're
so
not counted. You're not counted in that list.
Thank you for the compliment, sir.
I am
Thank
the
you.
one who has to worry.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We are absolutely delighted to have you. That is.
Thank you.
That is our real luck today. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I would request now Dr. Partho to ask question.
Good afternoon, sir. It was great listening to you. My question will be, what are the new skills and values which will be built among the students and teachers for online education in hospitality right now?
Wonderful question. Can you just park that question, because in my second half of my presentation, I'll be talking about that.
Okay.
And what the industry also wants in terms of those qualities that you're talking about. I have a full chart of that to share with you. So just park it for the time being, okay?
Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Just one last question. I would request Chef Antoine to go ahead and ask. Hello? Antoine? Okay.
Antoine, I don't see online, so.
I think maybe he was there, maybe.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I think, sir, we have come to an end of Q&A. And thank you, sir, for such an inspiring talk. And you have discussed in detail about Gen Y and Gen Z expectations and millennial workplace preferences and disruption in industry and academics, and also new education practices. And lots to take from your session. We assure you that we'll adapt and update and re-engineer ourselves. And I'm sure that we need to have one more lecture series. I think second, because of the time constraints. And thank you for from 11 to 2 hours, 2.5, almost 2.5 hours. It's really, sir, a lot to take from your session, and I would request now Anusha to take over.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Andrews for sharing the valuable wisdom of his experience and will now summarize the session. Dr. Andrews started by introducing us to the new dimensions of online education. Dr. touched upon and placed importance on adaptability, one of the most important quality we need to imbibe. He spoke about 3 historical events: a new generation, the digital age, and the halo effect of COVID-19. He suggested the needs and wants of Gen Y and Gen Z students, which included trusting relationship, experiential education, personalized development, simplified procedures and digital payments, do-it-yourself orientation, to name a few. He indicated how we need to be techno-oriented and invest in the latest softwares to keep us and our students up to date. He also placed importance on providing students with entrepreneurial development and encourage students to become job givers rather than job seekers. He then moved on to the importance of adaptation to digital age. He spoke about 2 mantras of digital society, which included disruption and innovation. Dr. Andrew encouraged us to inculcate the habit of building disruption in our minds from the norm and think out of the box. While speaking about the third element of historic change, the COVID-19, he highlighted that students are global citizens and how we should inspire them to explore the world and not limit themselves. He reiterated on how hotels are looking for ready skills and specialists, and how the highest paying roles are going to be the ones directly interacting with the customers. While speaking on the new education practices of online education, Dr. stressed upon the need for us to re-engineer ourselves and for online education and how we have to be the fountainhead for change. Dr. spoke about the need to decide on the specialization selection for students towards various departments during the induction, maybe through a psychometric test, and appropriate attention being given to them to help them develop unique skills. He then spoke about how the generation wants to gain trust of the new breed, how they want to gain our trust, and what we should do in order to gain their trust. We need to show academic leadership through adaptability, constant updation, disruption, research, and publication of articles and case studies. Sir predicts a paradigm change of industry following the academia, which will soon be seen in the near future, and how we should be the trendsetters. Dr. concluded the session by introducing us to types of learning methodologies, which included pedagogy, teacher-led learning, andragogy, student-led learning, and epistemology, which is creation of knowledge, and how we should move from pedagogy to andragogy. Thank you, sir, for the informative session. We look forward to the part 2 of this session. I now hand over to Mr. Rajshekhar for vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all. Distinguished speaker of the Faculty Development Program, Dr. Sudhir Andrews, Principal Chef Thiru, and my dear colleagues. It's my privilege and honor to have been asked to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. First and foremost, we would like to thank MAHE and ITC leaderships, unstinted support in all of our activities. We would like to thank the speaker for today, Dr. Sudhir Andrews, for having consented to address us despite his busy schedule. Thanks for your informative and inspirational lecture, sir. We are looking forward for the part 2 of the session. We must mention our deep sense of gratitude to our beloved Principal Chef Thiru for his able guidance and support. Thank you so much for organizing this faculty development program. Thank you, Ms. Anusha, for being the master of ceremonies for this event. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Vidya and Mr. Raghavendra for coordinating this event. A big thanks to our IT team for the continuous support. Last but not the least, our sincere thanks to all the faculty members for actively taking part in this program. Thanks one and all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And Anusha, you really